Alright, in this video you might see something you've never seen before. This is, I believe, the best way to do cold email. Now, I want to give a little bit of a disclaimer. This is my first cold email campaign, but I believe that there's that little bit of advantage when you're a beginner rather than an expert, because I might have gone overboard and done way too much, which in cold email, you tend to get out what you get in. Actually, basically in terms of anything, you tend to get out what you put in, not get in. So let me just show you. This is our database where we're storing all the cold emails. And as you can see, we have things like follow-up value. These are all dependent on the actual data that we have regarding this business. So since we know that this person's website hasn't been updated since 2023, we're going to be sending them a note just saying, hey, we know about that, and here's our kind of value. Yeah, let me try to find one thing that caught my attention. So this website only has 1/4 of their images with alt tags, and so we're doing a little bit of educating, teaching them why that's important. So this is all dependent on the data that we have on them. Instead of just kind of like doing a more general and broad message with a bunch of spin tags, we're actually hyper targeting it to the prospect. And this is a little bit more scalable than just creating 50 different campaigns for every single like permutation of lead. We also have a quick bump, and then as we'll see back here, we have our first line and our value proposition, okay? And these all depend on the website. So your website could be better. This is just a low website score based on our scoring system. And then your website just isn't that good. Yeah, and then here's one where the website is out of date. So let me go into the code and show you how we're doing this. So I have previous videos. I'm not going to go over enriching the data and scraping the data and everything like that. But what we are going to talk about is how we take a list like this and write all of this email copy at scale. So basically what we're doing is we're pulling out, well, actually, let me just show you first. For each company, we probably have multiple emails. So if I go to social media, there's a column called email addresses. You're probably screaming at your screen right now because I'm blind. Oh yeah, I am blind. So if we go into this array, we can see this one's only one email, this one's one, but some of these will have multiple emails. And so like this one, so there's multiple emails there. And then what we do is in a separate workflow, we're splitting apart these companies. See, we have 7,000 companies. And then what we're doing is we're splitting that into 8,000 records. And these are only the like companies that actually have email addresses. So all these emails in here are unique. Okay. And by the way, we're also pulling out the names. I made a video on that, I think yesterday. So we're pulling out the names. And then here's how we write the email. So what we're doing is we're pulling all of these leads from the database. We have to do multiple calls because it's I don't know, there's a limit. It only returns 1,000, so we're doing like 9 calls to get all the leads. And then this is how we do it. So for each lead that we have, we are first off we're finding a competitor. So this allows us to mention their closest competitor. So this is going to be the person in the same city, because we have their city and state, in the same city and state where the website score is highest. So the highest website score, this depends on a bunch of factors, but essentially that means that they're a really established business if they spent a lot of money on their website. So they should be kind of a household name to this company. They should recognize it. And then what we're doing is, if that competitor exists, then we're formatting it to make it look a little bit more natural. Because if we come over to company name here, we're going to see some things like you wouldn't say, I could actually remove the ampersand as well. We could do remove everything after and as well. Because basically we just want to, like, if you're mentioning Rhino Roofing and Construction, you would probably just say Rhino Roofing and Construction instead of Rhino Roofing and Construction LLC, right? That doesn't look natural at all. So we're dropping that part. We're dropping everything after a comma. just to make it look a little bit more natural. And then we're assigning a test group. So we're writing multiple different versions of our first email, and that's going to allow us to quickly test out which ones work best for our niche. And I've only written one test group so far because it actually takes a while, but this is how we're randomly assigning the test group, and we're also keeping it if we've already assigned one, just to make segmentation a little bit easier. And these are the lines that we're potentially going to be writing. So we have things like the value prop, the target niche, their goal, case study, offer, CTA, and then, yeah, that's basically it. So for our first and only test group here, if the test group is Kurt, basically we're saying, what do you think? This is the subject line. And so because we're using our own version of Spintax, we can customize it, and we can also drop in their name if we have it. Otherwise, we're just doing quick question. And then the first line, this is also dependent on their name, okay? And so this isn't something that you can do easily within instantly. You kind of have to have a placeholder. So I didn't want to have, hey, like, no name. It doesn't look natural, so I'm just skipping that completely if there's no name. And then we move on to the value proposition. So this is also specific to the test group we're running. But because it's Kurt, we're just going to be quick. We're going to be a straight shooter. We're not going to dress it up. We're just going to say like, all right, it looks like you're a legit business, but, and then you can see these variables come in, because if they don't have a website at all, we're saying, but you don't have a website, okay? If they do have a website, but it's just a Facebook page or something, we're saying your website is just a Facebook page. And then if the website is not valid, so if it's down, then we're saying your website is broken. And internal links, so I'm not going to go through all this stuff, but you can kind of figure out how we're segmenting all this stuff. And this would take so much time to do inside of an Instantly campaign, to write out a different campaign for each variant of this, and then we have different test groups for each. So yeah, it's just not really going to work out. So this is why we're doing it this way. And yeah, so you can see we're using some custom variables. This is called a ternary operator, which you don't get in Instantly, where you can basically say, if competitor exists, then we're going to drop in like competitor name. Otherwise, we're not going to add anything. And then further down, so this first email is the only thing that's customized to the campaign. And then we have our quick bump. So this is 2 days after the initial email. We're basically just trying to like bring it back to the top of their inbox, get their attention one more time, and sort of make a compelling offer. So yeah, as you can see, this is also dependent on the actual condition that we found when we enriched the data and scraped their website. And then finally, we have our follow-up value, where we're basically reaching out. This is 2 days after the quick bump, and we're just trying to provide a little bit of value, just kind of show them that we sort of know what we're talking about. So basically, a lot of this is saying you don't have to pay a lot for a website. We're kind of coming in below what they would typically spend, so we just want to make them aware, hopefully provide some value there. And then, yeah, so this one, we're basically saying that we can do it within 24 hours. You know, I'm not the best copywriter in the world, but this is all tailored directly to the prospect, instead of having to like break it up or making it more general. And then all we're doing is we're pushing that back into the database. And so if we go to the email, we can see we have our first line, we're dropping in the value proposition, and then we have a random little pitch here with a bunch of Spintax and our account signature. Step 2, quick bump, account signature. Step 3, follow-up value. And then this one is just kind of, I'll call it hard-coded. So yeah, that's the campaign. That's how you build out a bitchin' email campaign without, you know, having to do a bunch of Spintax gymnastics. It's actually all coded in, and it's extremely rich and targeted and personalized. So anyways, hope you liked this video. By the way, if you want help with your business, maybe doing something like this, click the link below, cloudmechanics.dev. I can help you build out something like this for your business.